Welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, it is me. I'm here yet again, trying my best to give you something exciting and interesting to talk about. But here's the interesting part. Today, we have something very special. We have an AMA. I couldn't say it. It's been so damn long. And ask me anything. People have been bugging me for that. And you might say, Larry, why don't you do more AMAs? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm trying to grow the show, and algorithms slow me down all the time, as you know. So I often ask other people to come on board so that other people can help to grow the show, that kind of thing, interesting topics and such. That's why I do these things. AMAs help the people who already love me, which I'm glad you love me. Please keep loving me. I need your love or I'm in trouble. So please keep loving me. However, I don't do as many because I want to grow the show. I do more of the AMAs to keep the current people happy. That is kind of how I do that kind of thing. So I hope that was clear as why I do those types of things. So in any case, I hope that was clear. And look, if you like what I'm doing, if you like the AMA, you think this is a good idea, and I can ask Larry some cool stuff, which you can, absolutely. Click that like button. I know I'm bugging you right now, but please do it. Yes. Also retweet. Yes. If you want your chat to rush to the front, it will. Your question rush to the front, it can. If you super chatted on Larry Sharpe YouTube, that also is the easiest way to get yours to rush to the front. But I will take them all to the best of my ability if I can. But again, this will help out tremendously. If you want to get to the front, please do so if you would be so kind. So let me grab, if I could, let me just bring up the idea that I want to talk about. And I will immediately then rush over and start doing the AMA. One of the reasons why I did this is I wanted people to think, what is actually working? Why is Larry doing this? Why does he keep going on and doing this stuff consistently again and again and again? And why does he just become some, like, I don't know, some guy who does like cat videos or something far more interesting than what I do? Why would I do that? And I do that because this matters to me. This matters to me. I want people to see this as valuable, and I want people to learn about solving problems. It matters to me. That's the big reason. So let me walk down the road and grab a couple of questions off the bat. We can start right away if we could. Patricia says, where will Larry be this weekend? Yes, Patty, thank you for that. Usually I am running around New York State, but I am not this weekend. I was going to, but I'm not because I had a surprise. My oldest daughter came up from college and is deciding to spend a bunch of the summer with me, which that wasn't going to happen originally. She's changed her mind. I am happy she's here. No complaints. So I'm glad she's here. But since she is here, it has changed a little bit of my plans. So I still will be traveling across New York State, but not this weekend, but 3 weekends from now. In fact, 3 weekends from now, I'm doing a North Country trip. I can tell you what places I will be in already. Just so we don't have the details yet, but we are working on them this week. June 30th, I'll be in Saratoga County. July 1st, Warren County, Clinton County, St. Lawrence County. And then July 2nd, I will be Franklin County, Essex County, Rensselaer County. So that's basically a North Country tour for me. I'll be doing that the weekend of June 30th. So mark your calendar if you're in those areas. I will eventually be giving you some details on where I'll be in those areas. That will, once I'm done with that, I'll be about halfway through the full Sharpe, which is 62 counties. I will be about 30 of them by the time that one is done. So good, there we go. Thank you, Patty, for that question. I appreciate it. Pete says national debt. I will say it again. 31 trillion, 857 billion, 5,736,347 $347.57. And again, keeps going. So yes. Dave says, since it's Ask You Anything, I want to know what's the difference between Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway, and off-Broadway. That's a great question. And Broadway, of course, means you are literally on Broadway, right? It is a Broadway show. That is where the biggest shows are, most expensive theaters are. But there's a lot of theaters, for those who don't know Manhattan, that are literally right off Broadway. So like it's a block away, 2 blocks away, side street. That's off Broadway. I mean, you're near Broadway, but you're not on the actual Broadway. That is the biggest difference. Off and off Broadway are the same. They mean you're nowhere near Broadway, but you have a show and it's in Manhattan. That's what that means. So yes, you have a show, it's in Manhattan, but it's nowhere near Broadway. That's off and off are the same. So it's Broadway, off Broadway, insert number of offs, Broadway. That's it. Hope that was clear. Joe says, looks like the New York skyline has cleared up behind you. Yes, however, this is not the New York skyline. I mean, it is, but it's a green screen. So yes, it just looks cool. So yes, but it is better. New York City is way better than it was. I appreciate that tremendously. So yes. Dave Davis says, we love you, Larry. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Pete says, which potential Libertarian candidate will most likely make the most impact in the next presidential election? That is a very tough one, Pete. And for those of you who don't know, and I'm going to copy this, another question, which will go together. That Libertarian lady says, can you explain the process of how delegates choose the president and VP nomination of the Libertarian Party in 2024? Yes, they'll go together, Pete. Okay, I want them to go together. All right, so I'm going to answer hers first because that will then answer yours. How do we do it? Well, I think we do it in not the best way. And some of you will get mad, but it's true. And the reason is it's too late in my view. For those of you who remember the show last night, I had a show last night where I was speaking to the chair of the Prohibition Party. Yes, there is a Prohibition Party in America. By the way, he gave me a note, which is it is the oldest third party in the country, over 100 years old. So interesting tidbit there. But the point being, they have already picked, I think it was last month and a month before, they have already picked their 2024 presidential nominee through their process. Their process is through convention. That's how they pick theirs. And they did already. By the way, it was in Buffalo, New York. Interesting enough. That's where they picked their nominee. You might say, why does that matter? Because now their nominee can assist them in getting access to the ballot in all the 50 states, which is an important piece. And in theory, I mean, they're small parties. They don't raise as much money. But in theory, they have more time to raise money, more time to raise their profile and all those things to the best of their ability. So it's actually a pretty savvy way of doing things for the Prohibition Party. We don't do that. Now, where we're the same as the Prohibition Party is that we select our nominees through convention. Our convention will be next year, 2024, in May, late May. I forgot the actual date, but it will be late May. In late May, we will select, everyone will come to, I forgot where it is, wherever the convention is. I don't remember. So I should care about these things, but I find out later. It's fine. Wherever it is, they'll go there. And when they go there, it'll be probably around 1,000 delegates. It's usually in that area, but 1,000 delegates will go there, and they will then literally just vote. And it's the equivalent of ranked choice voting. They'll make some cutoff for who will be on the ballot, and it will be a very low bar. The Libertarian Party is very lenient on who's on the ballot, and there's very often 4, 5, 6, 7 people on the ballot. That's a common thing. They'll make a cutoff. They'll say, you know, anyone who makes less than, say, 5% or something like that, and that will usually be the delegates who decide that number is. If someone doesn't get 50% plus 1, there is no victor. You must get 50% plus 1. If that no one does, 5% or lower is removed. We revote again to see who now will get 50% plus 1. If no one gets that, the lowest person comes off, 50% one again, until someone gets 50% plus 1. The exception is there will always be, in Libertarian world, NOTA. NOTA is none of the above. If NOTA actually wins, NOTA is never removed from the ballot, ever. NOTA is always on the ballot. If NOTA gets 50 plus 1%, everyone on the ballot is kicked off, and we must renominate everyone all over again, and anyone who was on the first ballot may not run again. That is how Libertarian Party works. That is done first for the presidential nominee, then a separate one for the VP, and anyone who's lost the presidential election may be nominated and run in the VP. So if you run for the president, you lose, you could run for the VP and win. That is how Libertarian Party does it. And it's done in May of 2024. The timing sucks. I don't necessarily mind the methodology. I hate the timing because the problem is now the person only has 6 months to run for office, less than that, 5 months to run for office. And sadly, too many of our nominees don't run early. They wait till they win the nomination. Oh, I won the nomination. Now I should start running. Far too late. It isn't a good way. So that explains that. Now, hope that answers your question, Libertarian lady. Now, Pete, I'll bring up your question. Which potential candidate will most likely make the most impact? It's difficult for me to know. Right now, there are 3 people who are actively running for president in the Libertarian Party. Excuse me. Chase Oliver, Mike Chermott, and Lars Mapstead. These are 3 people who are currently running. Of which of them will do the most impact? I don't know. It depends how effective they are by the time next May comes. If they have not made their name presence loud, if they have not done all those things, they'll win the nomination, and any of them will be, to be forward, mediocre if they haven't done the work that's required to expand themselves, right? And right now they're all working, which is great. I'm very happy they're working, but we'll see which one will be the biggest one. Why do I say this? Because since you don't have to show up until literally the day of the convention, people jump in way late in our world. I would guarantee you that someone will jump in December or January. Who knows who it'll be, but someone will jump in, right? Maybe someone will jump in literally March. And very often it'll be someone who was from the other parties who feels they can't win anymore, right? They get their butt kicked in New Hampshire or something and go, you know what? I'll try to run Libertarian. In the past, it was very easy for someone to walk in and go, see, I'm smart, I'm cool, come in and take me. That actually could happen much easier. Not as easy now. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Why is it not as easy? Because now we actually have people running now. Like the idea that we would have 3 people, as I said, Lars Mapstead, Chase Oliver, and Michael Chermott. The fact that we have these 3 people running right now, this wasn't a thing even 4 years ago. It wasn't a thing 8 years ago. Now we have 3 people actually running. So I think it will be much harder for some political star to show up and go, I'm now going to win. You know, Tulsi Gabbard shows up and thinks she wants to be Libertarian, right? That's fine. Good. I'd love to have her come aboard. I'd love that. I don't want her to be my nominee, but come aboard, join the Libertarian Party, give us some press. But I don't think she would win a nomination now. I mean, it's possible, I guess, but I don't think she would now. If this was 4 years ago, maybe. 6 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe. Because there really was nobody else really running hard like there are now. So I'm not trying to dodge the question at all. I'm saying I don't know who is going to jump in yet. When I see who's in, say March, I can give you that answer. Until then, I don't really know who's going to be the right one. So I hope that answers your question, even though it was kind of cheesy. I apologize. So Grace says, how's the air quality in New York City? Great. Can't complain. Yes. Christopher Skelly says, what do you think of the issues regarding free speech on college campuses? I think it's an embarrassment. The idea that college is what it is now is terrible. We can fix it though, Christopher. And it has to be fixed, sadly, at the national level. What I mean by that, you know, I always want local answers. But right now that you can't really do it because the government is subsidizing colleges so much that you can't do it, right? So what you really want to do is you want to make it to where the government does not back any loans. Why does that matter? If the government backs no loans, you then create a law allowing, which you may be able to do it already, but I'm not sure if you can. Just this would be a state level issue, allowing colleges to finance their own, to act as banks and to finance their own students. So now, Christopher, you want to go to a college. Right now, you just basically apply to the government. They give you money, and whatever happens, happens. The colleges know that, so they go, great, we'll charge lots of money. But now the college has to finance you themselves. So they're going to finance you. And you might say, Larry, that sounds crazy. That's how car dealerships do it right now. If you go to a car dealer right now and you buy a car and you buy it on time, you don't go to a bank to get financed. The car dealer has their own finance company, and they finance you. Buy a Honda, you get Honda Finance, Ford Finance. Therefore, they're doing it themselves. Well, now the college has to do it itself. Well, let me ask you, Christopher, if you and I are running a college and in comes Pete and says, I want to go to your school. And we go, great. It's going to be whatever, 80 grand to go to our school. Awesome. And then we're going to now give Pete 80 grand and he owes us 80 grand. Are we going to waste time with culture war garbage? Are we going to teach Pete something that really matters so we can get himself a job so he can pay us back? It is going to shift what colleges do. Right now, colleges have no reason to give you a good education. And they don't, by the way. To be clear, college is garbage. Let me repeat that in case you thought I was joking. College is garbage. They give you a garbage education, garbage everything. It's an indoctrination center. It sucks. It's trash. It's garbage. Why? It doesn't matter. Because what happens now is Pete goes to the government and says, hey, government, can I have money? They go, sure, take it. Me and you, Chris, we get paid. Doesn't matter if Pete's smart, if he's dumb, if he can do well, if he can do great, if he can have a job or not. Who cares? We got our money, so we can do all kind of stupid crap and hire crazy, stupid people. Who cares? We all got cash. That's the current system. But all of a sudden now, Pete's got to go out and make money. Am I going to start messing with him now? No. I'm going to train him to do something so he can get a goddamn job and pay his bill, which is our bill. So this is fixed at a top and then state level by allowing campuses and colleges to finance their own, because now they're responsible. Now, someone said to me once, well, if we do that, they'll never give out any degrees that don't give out jobs. Of course they will. They'll just be cheap. Of course they will. They'll be cheap. Some people will still want a liberal arts degree that doesn't really have a serious, value in the market, except you got a degree. That degree won't be $100,000, $200,000 anymore. That degree will be like 10 grand, that degree. Some people want it. They'll pay 10 grand for it. And the odds are they'll get a job they can pay back 10 grand. That will happen naturally. Naturally. Now you want a job that's going to get you some job when you're coming out of MIT and getting a $200,000 a year job. That degree is going to cost you some cash. You're going to make it. It's all good. So I think it can be fixed. We should. The other way around this is to enforce First Amendment rights on college campuses. You might go, Larry, you can't. They're private organizations. They are funded by the government, though. So that will be a workaround if it makes any sense. And no. Since you are being funded by the government, you must follow government rules. You do it all the time and everything else. They do it in our school system and our hospitals. So all the bad stuff they throw at us for hospitals and school systems, okay, do a good one here. And say you have to follow First Amendment laws and rules in your colleges or you get no government money. Overnight, that'll go away. Overnight, that'll go away. Everyone goes, free speech is violence. They're like, no, it isn't. We got money. Because what the colleges care about more than all this stuff is cash. Follow the money. If the government literally tomorrow said, if you take government money, you must follow First Amendment rules on your campus, overnight this goes away. Other people are like, but I'm wounded by the words you said. I guess you're wounded then, because I'm not losing my cash. I guess you're wounded. Go to hospital. Good luck. That's what's going to happen. I hope that answers your question, Christopher. So, John says, love the AMA. Work has me so tied down. I've been a negligent supporter lately. We still love you, John. Thank you. And I'm glad you're here. And ask some questions if you want to. All good. Let me grab a super chat. Dave says, I can't super chat on the Sharpe Way, but wouldn't the off probably be more independent shows? Yes. And that's the point, right? But if you say an independent show, then nobody wants to go to your show. So you are correct. Absolutely, Dave. You are correct. Yes, yeah. So that's why they say off Broadway or off Broadway, because at least that makes it's better for marketing. If that makes any sense. You're right. People don't want to go to independent shows. You are accurate. That is 100% correct. All right. So guys, of course, click the like button and you can always super chat on Larry Sharpe YouTube if you want to. Of course you can. Let me grab a couple more of this if I can. All right. Let's see here. Steve says, are you demonetized? I am currently, because they're fighting me on. Yes, I'm currently demonetized. There are issues I must deal with. Yes, I must deal with. So, but I can change that. And look, the reason why I bug you guys constantly, Stephen, thank you for bringing this up. I constantly ask you guys to hit that like button. I know it seems like I'm just being a nudge, but because I'm constantly being punished by the big guys always. So yes, I am currently, but I will change that. But that's not your issue. You can super chat me and fix it. Or you can head over to patreon.com if you want to. If you really love me, you can go to patreon.com/sharpeway. Let me $10 a month so I can keep going. That is another option. Or just click the like button. The like button is free. So you can just do that. You've done your part for free. If you want to help out with some cash, Patreon works. So does Super Chat. Both of those work. So either one could work. So I do get to monetize, sadly, often. But yes, but not always. I do, but it does happen. Yes. So let me grab a couple more of these if I can. So many of them. I do appreciate all of the Let me grab some of these if I can. Oh, wow, so many of these. Okay. I will try to grab some more of these to the best of my ability. All right. Gray says, with 67 million views on Twitter for Tucker Carlson, how can we get Tucker to go gold? We could use 67 million gold voters. I agree. I think grabbing someone like him to be in our world would be awesome. I would take any celebrities to jump in to be part of Libertarian Party. It doesn't mean, I want to be clear on this, it doesn't mean I want some random non-libertarian to show up and be our nominee. When it comes to gatekeeping, and I know people disagree with me, but I believe this completely. Number one, gatekeeping people to join the party should be as minimal as possible. Very light, almost non-existent. Let people come join the party. Our gatekeeping should be for nominees, people who represent the party on the ballot. That's where gatekeeping needs to be a whole lot stronger. But joining the party should be almost none. Let people come into the party. So if Tucker wants to come to our party, 100%. Do I want him to be our nominee? Not now. He's got some work to do if he wants it to happen. Not against it for the future. Let him do some work. Not now. No. But join? 100%. Love to have him in. Please come in. Please come in. Amash is part of our party. He came in from being a congressperson. He's not supporting us. I mean, he's not representing us yet, but he's done the work. If he wants to support us, I'm in. Let Tucker come in. Let Tulsi come in. Let them all come in. Do the work. And then we'll see. I have a problem with that. So I'd love to get him. How do we get him here? I tell you how. What the Libertarian Party, and to be forward, any third party does, not just us, but obviously I'm blatantly biased, but not just us. I think what's important is we are fighting for legitimacy, right? People have to see us as legitimate. It's why I fight so hard for ballot access. I know some people say, who cares? I care. Ballot access matters tremendously to me. I think it's critically important. So I would ask you, if you want to help out in that regard, you may head on over to LarrySharpe.com. Thank you, Grace. Slash ballot-access, or just click donate, whatever's going to work. All good. And you can support our attempts to get ballot access in New York State, which we will do by 2024. But I think the more legitimate people see us, Grace, the more chance they join, which is why I keep doing it, which is why you keep seeing me, right? I'm trying to practice what I preach. You see me go on other people's podcasts. You see me go on podcasts, people who aren't libertarians all the time. You see me bring people on this show who aren't libertarians all the time to get more people seeing us, more people talking about us, more people seeing our value, more people seeing us as real. The more people see us as real, the more chance we have of getting someone like him to come on board. That is what I'd like. I hope that answers your question. So, all righty. Let's see here. John goes on to say, the forward party is hitting our county hard. We are competing for people. Yes, they have way more money. What is the future like to become the fourth largest party? John, if you've noticed, I am very open to the forward party. I chat with them all the time. I have people on my show who are from the forward party all the time. Absolutely. Why do I do that? Because they raised over $100 million last year. We came nowhere near close to that. They have tons more money and more bodies. Now, that is actually a good thing. Let me explain why. Before you get mad at me, John, let me explain why. The reason why I was so happy that Forward did what it did is it showed one important thing. There actually is a taste, a desire, a market need for a third party. Forward would not have done that if there wasn't, right? Because they're much more mainstream than libertarians are. They are. They're much more of a mainstream third party, clearly. Well, that means the mainstream wants a third party. Now, the good thing about Forward, lots of money, front people that people have heard of. Christie Todd Whitman, who was a governor of New Jersey. Andrew Yang runs for president, runs for mayor of New York. Lots of popular front people. That's awesome for them. I wish we had some more popular people to be in our front. We don't have that. They do. Good for them. And they have more mainstreams. They raise lots of money. Good for them. That's an awesome thing. What do they not have? They don't have actual party infrastructure. Now, don't get me wrong. Money will help make that happen without question. And they don't have a real platform or principles. They don't really have that yet. We do. I hope that if we start bringing more people to us, many of them will pop off and go, oh, wait a minute. This isn't what I want. Well, I want these guys. I want these guys. If what we say is true, and I hope it is, that most people, when they hear our actual message, when we talk to them and chat with them, they will come to us. I hope we're right. And they will come to us. And if they will come to us, we will gain from this. But if we fail, John, and we might fail, I am trying my damnedest to show people how to communicate as a libertarian, how to be open-minded, how to bring more people in to have conversations. If we do it well, we will not become the fourth. We'll just get bigger as the third. But if we screw it up and push people away, we will become the fourth, right? If people are opening up their wallets now to third parties, and that's happening, that was not the case. If we go before forward, we raised the most money, and we raised nowhere near $100 million. Now they're doing it. That means the wallets are now opening for third parties. Let them open towards us. So I think in the long run, it's a good thing. I think short run, we're going to fight a bit. And I think you're seeing that. I think it's true. Long run, I think it really helps us. That's my view. So we'll see. So, all righty. Let me keep going down here. Joe goes, the LP nomination is way too late. I agree. It is. That's what I was talking about. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Steve says, I'm new to the show. You are libertarian, conservatives. I'm socialist, which of you have RFK Jr. Yes. And the funny thing is, I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of socialists watch this show. A lot. I'm surprised how many. In fact, 25% of people who voted for me in 2018 were registered Democrats. I'm surprised how many. But the difference is everything I talk about is actually helping the working poor and middle class, supporting the entrepreneur class, making sure there's no extra taxes to punish people, and trying to make things actually work, giving you actual plans, not just going other guy bad. Most Democrats, all they do is yell at the other guy. He's bad, other guy bad. They have no actual plans. Republicans are the same. He's bad, no actual plans. But why do socialists come here? Because the sad part is Democrats are lying to them. And I mean that seriously. The Democratic Party tells the far left of the party that they're far left also. Tell them that they care about things like Medicare for all, things like that. No Democrats are doing that. Democrats will say that, and they're lying to you. They're going to say that, and they're going to be corporate Democrats as always. That's why there's a chunk of the left that does not consider itself Democrats, does not consider itself even liberals. They consider themselves leftists. And that's a separate title. For those of you who aren't paying attention to that side of the aisle, most leftists do not consider themselves liberal or even Democrats. They consider themselves leftists. It's a different way. Now, what does a guy like me offer that kind of person? I offer you the option of actually having voluntary socialism. Voluntary, right? And now give you an example of this, Steve. If you're a socialist, then you probably care a lot about workers owning the rights of production. That's a common thing that socialists care about. Republicans think that's garbage and ignore it. Democrats say stuff nice and then ignore it. I actually had a plan, and this is just one of many plans, that would allow someone who's going bankrupt, if your company's going bankrupt, allow for a 30-day waiting period before the vultures come in to buy and to sell and everything. Instead, to allow the workers of that company to purchase the company. Now you might go, well, wait, Larry, that sounds great, but then how do they have the money? Two things. One, if we allow for the concept of localized credit unions, again, are voluntary. However, credit unions are co-op banking. It's literally voluntary co-op banking. So you can allow for credit unions supported by a public bank, again, voluntarily supported by a public bank, right? Which again is a socialist concept, but it's voluntary. So that socialist bank is covered. That covers the union, the credit union. The credit union can back a loan. That'll be backed by any individual who is owed any money, right, by the government, by default, if you're getting fired, you automatically are going to have at least, what is it, 26 weeks, I think it is, of unemployment. Pay it all up front with the bank. Now they're funded. These people are now funded to create their own co-op if they want to. Now, when libertarians hear co-op, they go, co-op, that's terrible. If you don't like co-ops, don't do a co-op. It's not required. The government's not giving any extra money. It's only giving out what was owed anyway, just upfront. And now a bank is going to help to fund them. They still owe the money. You don't. They do. And they have the option to buy. And now the workers now own the company. They own the means of production. Done deal. So I have many ways of allowing the left to get what the left wants. Now, my view is, if you're right, if socialists are correct, I don't think they are, but I could be wrong. I'm open to being wrong. And co-ops are the way to go, and they're the best way of going, and workers should always own the means of production, then we will absolutely have a better system. People will do it voluntarily. Banks will happily jump on board, and we'll all have co-ops. That's amazing, but it will be voluntarily or not. So I think that's why a lot of people like that, or will at least hear me if they're more leftist or socialists, because I respect what socialists are trying to achieve. I just don't want to use government force to make it happen, and I don't want people who disagree to have to do it. So I think that is why people will speak to me about that, even though they're socialists. My view of RFK Jr. RFK Jr. is probably the best Democrat I've seen run in a while. Now he's still a Democrat, but I'm saying, but as Democrats go, probably the best one I've seen run in a while. And the reason why I say that is he's actually speaking truth to power, which is rare for Democrats. Most Democrats are the power. He's actually speaking truth to power. He actually has some credibility on it. I think he's being actually honest, which is also rare in most politicians. So as far as Democrats go, a good Democrat. I've heard many libertarians tell me, and I mean many, publicly tell me they will consider voting for him. That shows you what kind of Democrat he is, that libertarians would even consider voting for him. Many of them are like, yeah, I might. I've actually had some libertarians tell me, because in their states, there aren't libertarians running, or aren't enough libertarians running. So they're considering changing their party status to Democrat so they can vote in the primary for JFK. That to me says something's happening. That's something. So I hope I answered your question, at least, if that makes any sense. I also like that he's against the military-industrial complex. I love that. And against deep state. That's good stuff. So I say that is definitely good. And he goes on, Steve says, no super chat here. There's no super chat on Sharpe Way because they wouldn't let me to the point of before. But there is super chat on Larry Sharpe YouTube. So you can go to Larry Sharpe YouTube and you can super chat there if you want to. Gene says, the LP National Convention will be in Washington, D.C. There we go. Great. Easy for me. Train ride down. I like that. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, D.C. I appreciate that. Aaron says, I really hope you are nominated for presidential candidate. Are you trying to punish me, Aaron? I thought you liked me. Did anyone not see how I ran in 2022 and got my butt kicked and got hammered until tomorrow? How about I don't get punished again next year? I'll pass. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to pass. Now, to be forward, would I look at a VP slot? I would, because a VP in the libertarian world is really support staff. So I would definitely consider that. I'm open to that idea of support staff. I am. So yes. So, all right. But President, no, thank you. I'm going to pass. I appreciate it. Maybe 2026, I would consider, 2028, maybe 2028, I would consider 2028, 2032. I'm open to the idea. I'm not saying I will. I'm open to the idea, but not 2024. It is just too much for me to handle. I appreciate the thought process, though. Yes. All righty. Joe says, Noda is the silliest game libertarians play, but we do play it. We do play it. Absolutely, we do play it. 100%. Yes. All right. Let me see if I can grab a couple more of these. Steve says, I saw you on a lefty show. That's why I'm here. Respect. Yes, I go on lefty shows. I go on righty shows too. I go on Second Amendment shows. I'm trying my best to let everyone see who we are and to be the most important thing, Steve. And this may sound hyperbolic, but it's what I believe. We are more divided than ever. And if someone doesn't start talking to both sides and become the peacemakers, this country's in real deep trouble. And I mean like violent trouble. There's a lot of trouble brewing. I don't want that. I don't. If there's two people who are angry at each other and aren't talking, you got to bring in a third party. Literally, a third party. Literally, a third party. If a libertarian can talk to the left and the right, we can start moving together. More importantly, I would argue that many Democrats who really believe in civil liberties, and there are still some that do, RFK is one of them, right, who believes in civil liberties. Generally speaking, libertarians are better Democrats than Democrats are. When it comes to Republicans, they're supposed to care about small government. Many of them do, or they say they do at least. When it comes to small government, libertarians are better Republicans than Republicans are. So if you have a libertarian in the middle, you will have better Democrats and better Republicans because now there's something to measure them against. So that's one of the reasons why I do this. I am all over the place. Yes, I show respect for all the sides, both the sides, whatever the sides are. So yes. Terry says, Chase Lars ticket. Oh, that's an interesting one. There we go. Could happen. You never know, right? If Chase wins the nomination, Lars could run for VP. Or the reverse, right? Absolutely could happen. 100%. Either one could happen because that's how it works. It absolutely can do it. Yes. Grace asks, does legacy media realize they are dying or are they too myopic to notice? Who do you think are the most golden figures in new media besides you, Larry? Thank you. Yes, they are 100% aware. They know it 100%. And I got to give you the examples I'll give you. Number one, years ago, MSNBC, NBC created Peacock. Peacock is their streaming service. And they have been kind of moving people back and forth between Peacock and MSNBC. It's a very savvy move, right? It's not doing great, but it's doing bad. And they put some cool shows on Peacock that people would buy Peacock just to see. I think it was Jon Stewart, I think, was on it. And a couple of people were like, only on Peacock. So bringing people over to that so that they could make that shift. That was their goal. It hasn't been as good as they'd want it to be. It's new for them. They're legacy media. They don't get it all as they should. They worry about silly things that they shouldn't. So they do realize that action shows you they realize that. And early, right? Also, Fox News. Fox News created Fox Nation. Fox Nation actually did a decent job of getting people on. Fox Nation was savvier than Peacock. Fox Nation was giving Fox Nation away. If you were a veteran, I think, or first responder, first year free to get people watching. The problem is Peacock actually has a better app and a better system, a better website, a better app. Fox Nation exists. So they did that. Now, but again, this shows that they know and they're trying to make this happen. The last thing you see is, of course, the disaster that was CNN Plus. CNN is the most legacy of all the legacies and therefore is the hardest one to change. CNN is collapsing badly, right? CNN, I've always said this and I'll say it again. To save CNN, here's how you save CNN. You save CNN by turning CNN into a documentary channel. What CNN still does pretty well is not politics. It's an investigative journalist. When they create their the documentaries, like, it's the story of Princess Diana. It's the story of, the flight that went down, whatever. They're actually good at that. People like those things. They watch them. They enjoy them. And other channels will buy them. So why isn't CNN becoming that? Scratch news, you suck at it. You're bad at it now because you've wrecked everything. Don't do that. Do regular news like an airplane crash, a volcano exploded, and documentaries. Do that. You will save your channel because people of other channels will buy your stuff. Other channels would love to buy a documentary on whatever, Mount Pinatubo exploding or something. They'll buy that. They'll buy it. They'll show it on their channels as content. So you become a content creation place. That's how you fix it. So to end, all that was to tell you, yes, they absolutely know it. They're just not doing a great job of fixing it, but they absolutely do know it. Some of the most golden figures in new media. It's a tough one to say because there are people on the left and the right who lean libertarian or lean gold for their own issues, if that makes any sense, right? So, but they tend to be statists on certain issues. So I think it's both of them. It's hard for me to say. I think part of me says, let me come back to that, Grace. I'm not sure. Let me grab a super chat if I could. This is Joe. What do you think of the Target and Bud Light situation? Bud Light sales down 60% and Target stock downgraded today for the third time. Go woke, go broke. I don't think it's necessarily go woke, go broke. It's don't know your audience, go broke. Right? That's what it is. It's don't know your audience, go broke. But there's a problem here, Joe. Your issue is a valid one. You see it here. You don't know your audience. However, here's the worst part. You're pushed by your financing. So many of you have heard me say this often about not New York, I'm sorry, New York too, but the entire country. The country is controlled far too much by finance. Finance is an important part of any economy. Of course it is, right? Banking and finance matter. But banking and finance should be a couple percentage points of your economy. It should be hardly any of it. It's massive, right? It's 15, 20%, some crazy number. It's massive percentage of our economy. Far too much. We become a finance country. That works when you're like Singapore or Luxembourg, right? Luxembourg is basically a bank surrounded by a country. That's what it is. Singapore is the same thing. It's a bank surrounded by a country. That's basically what it is. And that's fine when you're a small place. Luxembourg is what? 1 million people, something like that? Singapore is like 5 million people. We have 330 million people. We can't be a bank surrounded by a massive country. It's not going to work. And you see it happening already. We have to like build things and such, right? We have to do things, create value and such. Since we're so heavily pushed by finance, almost everything in the world owned by like 3 big, finance companies, BlackRock and Vanguard is the other one. I forgot the other one. A couple of these big ones, right? Who own everything. That means that they control stuff. And I said, Larry, why do they care about the go woke, go broke stuff? I will tell you why. And some of you will think I'm nuts. I don't care. I'm still right on this. The big banks and big business and oligarchs of the world want us fighting culture war. Why? As long as we're fighting culture war, we aren't making real systemic change that keeps the rich rich and the poor poor and keeps to opening up the wealth gap and the income gap. That keeps happening more and more and more. What are we doing for that? Nothing. We're worried about what's being said on college campuses. We're worried about whether some Bud Light puts a trans gal on their whatever, and whether Target puts tuckable lingerie or whatever it was. And that is what we're worried about. We're about that. Focusing all on that. Meanwhile, the people who own Target still make lots of money. Even if Target goes under, when they sell off all their stock, the top people will still be super wealthy. The people at the bottom will be crushed. They'll lose their jobs. They'll be devastated. Other stock will be devastated. But these guys have all got primary stock. They're all getting paid first. So they're all making tons of money. And they'll leave Target and go work for Walmart or whatever. So they'll all be fine. The elites win this. So go woke, go broke doesn't apply to the seniors. The seniors are just fine. In fact, they know it and they're happy for it. Because the more, Joe, you're talking about whether or not there's tuckable underwear or tuckable swimsuits in Target, the less talk about the fact that, oh my God, more big banks own more stuff and more people can't afford homes and more people are getting put in jail for crap Michigan put in jail in. And we're fighting in Ukraine and we got $100 million to send to Ukraine and none to help out kids here. So yes, what you're saying, however, that's the logic and the back behind it, what people don't get. That's why it's happening. They're not stupid. They're not going, oh, I'm just going to be dumb and ruin my stock. No, they're being pushed by their financiers to do culture war stuff. That's the kind of ESG, all those ideas, DEI, ESG. That's not some guy going, I want to do that. This goes back to Occupy Wall Street. I'm not joking. This goes back to Occupy Wall Street. Occupy Wall Street were like, the 99% and the 1%. And they were right. And the 1% said, this guy's got us. Tell you what we'll do. We'll hire some black people and we'll hire some gay people. How about that? And the guys went, I guess we're winning. Yay. And they hired some black people and they hired some gay people and like put a DEI guy in or something, right? Okay, great. Did they change the system? No. Are they still super wealthy? Yes. Are they still oligarchs? Yes. So actual change never happened. They went, wow, This works. If we keep throwing these idiots in the culture war stuff, they'll never realize that we rule them with an iron fist. Awesome. Everybody's gay. Done. That's what happened. So I know I'm kind of joking, but I'm not. I went long. I apologize for that. But yes, that's one of the issues. So yes. All righty. If I go down here. All righty. Roger says, Steve, I convinced them on cooperatives and public banks. Cooperatives already had. I had cooperatives before that. I was already thinking about those. Public banks, that's a lot you, Roger. I gotta tell you, it's a lot you. I was kind of already on the co-op part. But yes, I'll give you a lot of credit. The public bank piece, really, I didn't really think about that until you were bugging me with it, and I was listening. So yes. All right. Let me keep going down if I can. David says, no more washed up farm Republicans. Agreed. And David, I think that the odds of that happening now are slim, right? Look, it could happen. I'm just saying, I think the odds are much slimmer because we've been spending so much time now. If you go back, and for those of you who haven't really been part of the libertarian movement for a while, you may not know this. If you've been around for a while, you know this, which is if you go back 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, most of the time when libertarians ran, they would run once, leave, quit, and run again. So we're always trying to find new people to get back into the flow again and again and again. So when some great, I'm doing air quotes, someone great candidate showed up who used to be a Republican or used to be a somebody, and oh my God, they're somebody, they can help us, they'll save us. We were much more open to it. David knows this, why he's saying it. He knows that's true. That's where we were. We're not so much there anymore. Now people are staying. They're running and they're staying. And more people are joining and they're staying, right? Spike ran before. He didn't leave us. He's still here. I ran before. I didn't leave. I'm still here, right? So even some of the more popular ones who've had some exposure didn't just go, oh, great, I have exposure. Now I'm going to leave the party and become a Republican or become a Democrat or whatever. But the second piece, David, that I think you've noticed, guys like me and Spike, we're homegrown, right? I didn't come from the Republican Party as a so-and-so and then came over. So I didn't become from a Democratic operative and then come over. He just came as a libertarian. Me too. The people running now, Mike Tremont, Chase Oliver, right? Laws Mapstead. These guys are libertarians. They're homegrown. So I think we're in a much better spot to defend ourselves against some, I'm now here to save you. But to be forward again, David, to have them in the party, I'm open 100%. Would I like Tulsi Gabbard to join the Libertarian Party? I would. Would I like her to be our nominee? No. So gatekeeping for the nominee, but come on in. Give us the props, help us raise money, eat the dirt that we eat. Happy to do that. Yes, absolutely. So that Libertarian lady goes on to say, as Spike Cohen says, we can't just go around calling everyone bootlickers if we expect to go to the party. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Yes. Craig Miles says, Queen Kathy, for those who don't know, that is Kathy Hochul, first of her name, Empress of New York. She is our Empress. Says, just repealed the healthcare worker mandate for the jab. In Utica, it's a hospital in Utica, is begging nurses they toss that on their ass to return. Will there be a day of reckoning for the mandates or not? There will be no day of reckoning for mandates. I know people get mad and think, Larry, but they should. There should be, but there will be none. None. There will maybe be a couple individuals who have specific cases, but that's it. Because once you start doing that, you change everything. The amount of damage that was done by mandates, I'm not sure how we could recover. So no, I wish there would be. So yes. All right. Let's keep going down here. Kendra says, Larry, I need a way to represent the Libertarian Party here in Long Beach, New York. I see so many political banner flags and the like, and I never see anything representing our party. It's so depressing. Can you direct me to any website? Do you have anything on your website available? I'm not sure that we want just libertarian banners and such to be forward. I'm not trying to be a nudge. I'm trying to be real here. I think we want, as a general rule, in fact, like 99%, people don't come to our party because someone said libertarianism. They come to our party because they heard somebody say something that made sense, right? Whatever that person was. Maybe it was Ron Paul in 2008 talking about something. Maybe it was, maybe it was Gary Johnson. For me, it was Gary Johnson in 2012. That's what got me here. Maybe if you were in New York State, maybe it was me in 2018. Maybe it was Spike when he was running in 2020. It was someone said something that, that kind of makes some sense. Okay, let me check this guy or gal out, right? But so the banners we need are from campaigns. So sadly, my campaign never took off last year because I got kicked off the ballot. But the next campaign in your area, Kendra, that's what you want to do. You want people to have a website to go to, a place to go to, that kind of thing. I think that's the answer. The next person running in your area is when to go. If I run in 2026, that's awesome. Maybe it'll be me. If we have a presidential candidate in 2024, it might be that presidential candidate. I think that's the piece. I hope that's the best way. So yes. Pete says, where will I get the most for my dollar for ballot access in New York? Well, thank you, Pete, for that awesome question. Right there at support me at LarrySharpe.com/ballot access, or click donate when you're at LarrySharpe.com. That is how I literally have to raise $500,000. I'm not joking, but luckily I've already raised about $50,000. So we raised about $50,000, about $500,000, meaning about $450,000 more by next April 1. If we can raise that amount of money, we will be able to get ballot access in 2024 for a presidential candidate and for a potential mayoral run in 2025 in New York City, and for a gubernatorial run, perhaps by yours truly, in 2026. So that's what we're trying to build out. So I hope that answered the question. So yes. All right. Let's see if I can grab a couple more of these. Daniel says, which R candidate so far do you think leans the most libertarian? That's tough because there's so many running. When it comes to policy versus purism, it's a tough one. If it wasn't for his constant, I think, too strong culture war battle, I would say Vivek Ramaswamy. He just spent a lot of time on culture war, though. That's my only issue. A lot of time on culture war, which is, I think, unnecessary, but I get it. It's kind of his thing. He can't kind of go, it's kind of his thing. But I would say Vivek. If I had to pick one, he probably has the most, particularly in theory. I'm not sure about his policy, but particularly in theory, I think that's true. Don't know about his policy, but yeah, that's what I would say. I hope that answers your question. So, all right. Let's see here. John says, will they actually incarcerate Trump? I don't think so. And the reason why I say that is Democrats don't actually want Trump in jail. The Democratic perfect storm, if they get what they want, is Trump wins the primary and goes to the general heavily wounded. That is their perfect dream, because then they can put anybody against that. They can put Kamala against that and win, right? That's their goal. A battered, hammered Trump that has to go show up in court while he's running for president. Trump that has to spend money on or raise money for legal fees. So if they incarcerate Trump, well, then they get someone like DeSantis or something. How are they going to? You can't say orange man bad when the man's not orange. And the biggest advantage to all Democrats is just going, you have to vote for me, otherwise Trump will come and kill everybody, right? Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. I know, I live in New York City. It's true. It's a real thing. Democrats know that. And that's why Biden won. Biden's entire campaign last time was, I'm not Trump. That's not a lie. He's not Trump. That's true. That was his entire campaign. Well, if Trump is not running, what's their campaign? So I do not think so. I think Democrats do not want to put him in jail. Then they want to wound him. They want him to win the primary and wound him. That is their goal. They believe they can beat him like that, and then he can win completely that way. That's what they think. So hope that was clear. So yes. All right. Kerry goes, okay, Larry for VP, I'll take it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Yes. See if I can grab some of these. John says, Larry, lots of love. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that completely. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see here. Let me grab some of these. I went through that one already. I went through that one. Joe says, ice cream, chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry. I love chocolate ice cream. I also love, believe it or not, coffee ice cream. Yes, and that may seem crazy. I used to like having them together in 2 scoops, coffee and chocolate together. I love both of those ice creams. Now, I'm going to tell you a weird reason, Joe. You may think it's funny. I love chocolate in general. I love chocolate ice cream. I love chocolate covered anything. I love chocolate bars. I love dark chocolates. I love chocolate. So that's my favorite. I began to like coffee ice cream because no one in my house liked coffee ice cream. So if I bought a coffee ice cream, I have 3 people in my household, wife and 2 kids. Nobody would eat it. So I could buy coffee ice cream and always have ice cream if I wanted it, right? That was the reason why I started liking coffee ice cream. I like coffee in general. Everyone who knows me knows I do like coffee very much. So I also like coffee ice cream. I prefer chocolate, but if I'd buy chocolate, there'd be no chocolate ice cream when I wanted some because my family would eat it. So I started buying coffee instead. No one else liked it. I always had ice cream. So I prefer chocolate, but I also like coffee ice cream. So yes, there we go. All righty here. See if I can grab a couple of these if I can. All right. Yeah, Kendra goes on. Ken, you got a lot of stuff. I appreciate all the stuff you're saying. I think you're absolutely right. I want to grab somebody else though, because you're I want to give somebody else an option, but you're saying some good stuff. Thank you for keeping the chat going. Snork Y2K says, Chris Christie is like a whale rotting on the beach forever. Chris Christie is actually one of the savviest guys there. I'm not joking. You might go, what are you talking about? Chris Christie's pissed off. I don't know if you know the story behind him. He basically took a deal with Trump, and his Trump went away because Jared Kushner was like, I hate Chris Christie. He put my dad in jail. I'm not joking. That actually happened. So Chris Christie put Jared Kushner's dad in jail. So Chris Christie had a deal with Trump. Jared Kushner squashed that, and Christie kind of got screwed. So he's pissed off. So he wants to fix things. Christie does not believe he's going to win. He doesn't. Chris Christie knows the only way to get rid of Trump is to attack Trump hard. The only way. Who can? And look, I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not going to vote for Trump, right? I'm a libertarian. I vote third party no matter what. That's what I do. That's who I am. We know this. I'm just trying to give credit where credit is due. When it comes to street fighting in politics, it is really hard to beat Trump. He is very talented. If you don't think so, you are not paying attention. That man knows how to street fight. You get out there in a debate, he is punching, swinging. He is one of the best. Who's going to stop him? You think DeSantis is going to be able to stop Trump in a debate? You think any of these guys is going to stop Trump in a debate? He's going to eat them for lunch, breakfast, and dinner if he even gets on the debate stage. It's going to be embarrassing. Who can? Chris Christie knows he can do a kamikaze attack, come directly out. He's doing it already. If you see all his like town halls are all Trump is evil, Trump is bad, Trump is evil, Trump is bad, Trump's corrupt, everyone's corrupt, Jared Kushner's corrupt, they're all corrupt. That's all he's doing. So he's hoping that he could take Trump down enough notches to where Trump doesn't win the primary. If Trump doesn't win the primary, Chris Christie's the VP for whoever wins, or the Secretary of State or whatever. He guarantees himself a job if Trump loses. That is why Chris Christie's doing what he's doing. He knows that if Trump loses, he is guaranteed a job because he took him out. He is guaranteed a job in some way, shape, or form. Maybe Secretary of State, maybe whatever, VP. That is why he's doing what he's doing. He's actually savvier than you think, Snork. He's savvier than you think. So is Hillary going to run? No, I don't see it at all. Something has to happen to Biden for anyone else to run. And if something happens to Biden, 2 people jump in. 2 people jump in. Gavin Newsom jumps in and Hillary jumps in. Guaranteed. If something happens, if Biden decides to stop or not do anything or whatever, and if Biden goes away, Kamala's finished. Kamala's finished. Kamala Harris is only a thing because Biden. That's it. If somehow, and Kamala also can't win an election. So the last thing Kamala wants is Biden to have a problem now. No, you might think she can't wait. No, she wants to wait till the next time. Then she might want him to have a problem. right? And I'm just teasing. It's a joke, NSA. It's a joke. I'm teasing NSA. Agent who's listening, FBI, kidding, joke. Any case, so yes, Hillary's not going to run unless something happens to Biden. Then both her and Newsom would jump in. And if either of them would lose, they might actually do the VP thing. It might happen. So yes. Daniel asks, okay, hold on. Steve says not, oh yeah, it is available. Steve's super chat is available on Larry Sharpe, not Sharpe Way on Larry Sharpe. I apologize. It's how YouTube works with me. Yeah. So before we go any further, I do want to do a couple of things. Please, guys, this is the Ask Me Anything show. It is. Of course it is. So please, if you like it, click the like button. A lot of people like this. So if you do like it, if you're on Twitter, please retweet this now. Right now, retweet it so people can see it. If you want to get your chat to the top, please just super chat it. I read all super chats, no matter how crazy they are. Don't get too crazy. But yes, do that. If you want to support the show directly, you can. Head over to patreon.com/sharpeway. It's going to be $10 a month, so I can keep going. I appreciate that. And if you want to support my quest to get a third party to be valid in New York State by next year, then head over to larrysharpe.com/ballot access and give what you can give. Whatever you can give. What I'd like you all to do in my perfect world is everybody gives $20 to $25 per month until not this November, until next November. That is the home run. I hope you all can do that. If you can, if you can't, I get it. Do what you can. That would be awesome. If you can't do that, okay, but you can click that like button. That you can do. You can click the like button. That is something all of you can do. Absolutely. So yes. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. Let's see. Janice says, oh, that's long. I'll give you a couple of this. FYI, Teachers for Choice court date postponement. New date is June 21 at Staten Island. There we go, guys. If those of you who care, there we go. If you were an educator in New York City, fired for declining the COVID shot, and you, what am I saying out loud? I'll get in trouble now. Do not need a lawyer representing you. This day is very important for you. You show up in court. There we go. Back to your day of reckoning. Maybe a little bit, but not much. But yes, there we go. I appreciate that. All right, if I can grab a couple more of these. Let's see here. Kendra says, I'm not Trump, Biden. True. Jameer says, I love Larry Sharpe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. All right. The New York Clip says, Larry, your lefty guest on live stream is wrong on AOC since she, Bernie, and the squad all voted for war. Even her own supporters called her out for voting to arm Ukraine, Azov Battalion. This is a very important point, so thank you for bringing this up. The AOC is my congressperson. Where I live in Queens, she's my congressperson. And I always try to give her credit where credit is due. I want to be fair on this one. She busted her rump for that first seat. She absolutely did. She tried hard. She worked hard for it. They knocked on my door. I mean, she work ethic was amazing. Since winning, she has been a disappointment to almost everyone, I would say. Almost everyone. She promised a lot. She delivered almost nothing. I think you're right. She voted for war. She voted for yes, she has been very disappointing. She supported Nancy Pelosi when it should have been new leadership in the Democratic Party. I agree with all those things. I think she's been a big disappointment in every way, shape, or form. And again, most of her policies I don't agree with anyway, right? So it's not like I would have wanted her to be successful in some of her policies, but it doesn't matter. The point is, if you're running for office promising X and then people vote for you, you should deliver X, whether I agree with X or not, right? If our system is going to work, you have to deliver what you're saying you're going to deliver. And she has not done that. I think you are correct. I think you're totally correct. I agree completely. Yes. So Paula says, Larry, do you see food prices getting even higher? And what is the Libertarian answer to getting food prices down in spite of the war with Ukraine? I think we are past the massive or the largest chunk of inflation on food for now. I think for now we are. I think we're over that big hump. Will it still keep going up? Of course, inflation has to go up. We have a Fed. So by default, it has to go up. So there will still be inflation. But I think it will be I think we're past the big chunk. I do think we are. I think the market has kind of corrected for that. The only way that will change if we, for some dumb reason, go back into some kind of lockdown or something. If we don't go back into some form of lockdown, then I think we're going to be fine relatively. Again, Paula, I think it still goes up, but just nowhere near as bad. So the answer for any inflation is always the same thing. Most of it comes from the federal government. Not all, but most of it does. So how do we do that? Well, at a local level, all we can actually do at a state level, that kind of thing, is remember something. As a general rule, what is inflation? Inflation is too much money for not enough goods and services. So you can either squash the money, and that's what the Fed tries to do by raising interest rates and such, or increase the goods and services. So I say letting more people work easier, supporting gig economies, supporting people in their own small businesses, allowing people to keep more of their own money, right? And moving forward and spending it will allow more people to buy more things and make more things. The more people can provide goods and services, you will begin to slowly deal with and buffer inflation. Again, sadly, a lot of it is federal, but at a local level, you can buffer inflation by having more and more people able to work. The more people who work, the more you'll be able to buffer against inflation. So that's what you do, right? More people working. And the sad part is we have less people working. We have more people opting out of the workforce on purpose. Jobs are either they believe they're not valuable, they're not good jobs, they don't pay well, all those different things, right? There's issues. We have to fix all these things. We need more people working. And again, not just in factory jobs, unless you want a factory job, right? No judgment on whatever job you prefer, right? Some people like a simple 9-to-5 job, do the same job and leave. Some people like a more challenging job, depending on where they are in their life. No judgment, whatever job you want. But allow people to do more physical work, mental work, providing more services and more products, and you will, by default, you will start to buffer against inflation. So hope that answers your question. So yes. Let's see here. Craig Little says Christie can smack Trump in the mouth. Figuratively. Don't do it literally. That is a bad idea. Yes. Joe says Michelle Obama would win if she jumps in. I think you're right, Joe. I think she is someone who the left loves, right? The left loves Michelle Obama. She would rally the Democratic base like there's no tomorrow. It brings Obama back out, and Democrats still love Obama, right? Obama's the new Clinton for the Democrats, right? Sadly, the Republicans don't really have that. They don't have that guy or gal, that personality. Democrats used to have Bill Clinton before he got into big trouble for the guy who unlived himself in jail, in theory, that guy. I don't want to say that I'm going to get in trouble. But anyway, before that guy, the Steen of Epp, before that guy and that connection, the left loved Bill Clinton. He could show up anywhere. Everybody jumped around. He was the greatest guy. Loved him. All good. He's not that guy anymore. I mean, they don't hate him, but they don't love him. The left loves Obama. So when Obama shows up, they're like, oh my God, it's Obama. So I completely agree. I think if Michelle Obama stepped in, she wins the nomination and maybe even the presidency, but for sure the nomination. There's no doubt Democrats would come out in droves for her. People who hadn't voted in years would show up. Democrats would show up to vote for Obama. So she definitely wins the nomination. Maybe the election, but for sure the nomination. I don't think there's a Democrat around who could beat her for the nomination. Yes. All right. Paula asks, does Kennedy have a chance at the Democratic nomination? Yes. And again, it's assuming that something bad happens to Biden in some way. If nothing bad happens to Biden, I think he still wins the nomination. Remember, the Democratic Party is still very much a good old boys network and still very much an elitist network, and it's very much run by the party bosses. Very much still run by that. And the party bosses say it's Biden. It's Biden. That's how that works. They have said literally, there will be no debates. Why? Because we are the party bosses, and we say so. And Democrats went, okay. I'm not joking, Paula. That literally happened. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Yes. Thoughts on Fox Business canceling Kennedy Nation? A travesty. Horrible. Terrible. The worst. I don't, what else can I say? Bad, and bad. Terrible idea, bad thought process, nothing but bad. And I will say this as a personal thing, and I hope she's listening or hope she's watching. When everybody last year when I was running abandoned me, all the mainstream people abandoned me when I wasn't on the ballot. And this is a personal thing for me. So I'm going to be personal here. You ask, I'm going to be personal. When I didn't get in the ballot, all the people who I thought still valued me, wanted to take care of me, wanted to show my ideas, almost all of them walked away from me, abandoned me, didn't care. Not Kennedy. She stuck by me. And she still had me on. She still gave me attention. She treated me with respect through all of that. She was the only one. So she is a person who deserves respect, a person of her word. She's a person of integrity. And I am terrible that they did that. I can't stand it. I hate it. It's wrong. I don't know what else I can say. And it's personal to me. So maybe I'm a little bit emotional, maybe. But so what? She was the one person in the mainstream media that didn't go, oh, you're not in the ballot? Yeah, you're not valid anymore, Larry. We used to love you, but now you're not in the ballot. You're not valid anymore. Kennedy said, no, I still love you. You're still good. Doesn't matter if you're in the ballot or not. You're still good. She did that. Nobody else did. So, yes, I am biased, and I don't give a damn. I love Kennedy. I wish they didn't do that to her. And, yeah, I'm upset. Correct. Yes. So, in any case, Paul Dengle's says, Kennedy have a chance at the Democratic nomination? I think we mentioned that one already. I don't think you mean that Kennedy, you mean the other Kennedy. So, yes. All right. Again, AOC seems to be losing her appeal in the mainstream media as well. You are correct. You are correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, that's already happening. So, all righty. So if I can keep going here. Grace will say, I don't think Michelle Obama wants it. I think you're right. I think if I'm Michelle Obama, your husband was already, right? Your husband was already president. You're already super, super wealthy, super popular, super powerful. Your kids are going to be powerful too. I think, why would you do this? I mean, maybe, I'm not saying she won't, but I could definitely understand why she wouldn't. I mean, why not? Right? Why not? I think it's completely fine. I think it's completely fine. So I don't think she would do it. Why would she do it? I guess that's my question. I'm not sure why she would. So let me grab a couple more if I could. Guys, please click the like button again. I know I bug you often. I know I do. Please click the like button. I do it because it matters. If you click that like button, more people see this, more people make this work. Please click the like button. It really does matter, right? If you're watching this on Twitter right now, please retweet this, right? And it's retweeted. Click retweet. Stop looking at me. I know I'm good looking. It's true. I'm good looking. That's fine. I'll still be here after you click that retweet. Retweet so that people can see that it's all good. If you want to super chat me, you can. You must do it on Larry Sharpe YouTube if you want to. You can watch me on Sharpe Way YouTube if you want to. I have to have a backup in case I get canceled again. So yes, so I have my backup, so I appreciate that. But you can super chat me on Larry Sharpe if you want to, or you can support me directly if you want to. Patreon.com/SharpeWay. It'll be $10 a month so I can keep going. Yes, I asked for $10. It's a lot, I know, but yes, I think the show's worth it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. But hitting the like button's free, so you could do that for nothing. Still works either way. And if you want to support my chance for ballot access 2024, which opens up for 2025 and 2026, and let me ask you them. If you're listening, you're saying to yourself, Larry, I like third parties, but I'm not really libertarian. But I think Forward should have a line, or I think the DSA should have a line, or I think the Greens should have a line. Any of those things. Okay. Help me get ballot access in 2024. And then I will help the other parties get ballot access in 2026. How do you know that? Because I'm already friends with all these people. They already know me already. I get endorsed by the Forward Party in 20. I'll help them get a line too. I just want my line. Help me get my line. I'll help you get yours. I want more parties. I've been clear on that. More parties, better. And you might say, Larry, wait a minute. Why would you want more parties? Don't you just want the Libertarian Party? No, because I believe that my views, if you hear me, will beat all the other views in the arena of ideas. I'm not afraid of competition. I know I'm right. I know my ideas work. I'm not scared of competition. Bring it on. That's why they have to cut me out and throw me out and sue me and throw me into court. because they know if they actually heard him in a debate stage, they'd be like, damn, that guy's right. Yeah, Greens can come, Fogle can come, let them all come. I'm happy. I will beat all of them because my ideas are superior. I know that. I have no fear. And you know what else might happen? I might learn something. Roger, who you just saw, and we brought him up earlier, Roger opened up my eyes to a couple of things. He's not a libertarian. He's not. But I learned something. So let them all come in. How could I have learned something if I didn't talk to guys like Roger? I got to talk to him, or I don't hear him. So yes, bring them all. I'm totally okay. So yes. All righty. Paul goes on to say, free market capitalists do not fear competition. Correct. Correct. Thank you, Paula. I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of it. Bring it on. All good. No worries. I got it. Right? That's it. So yes. All righty. Joel says, as Cuomo says, we only need one party. Not only Cuomo. I'm going to tell you something that's kind of fun. Nah, it's not, fun's the wrong word. Funny or odd. How about that? Most people would say that, well, look, when you're out there trying to get signatures to get in the ballot, that, you know, you're trying to get a ballot. Who's going to be against that, right? Who's going to be against you putting on a ballot? You don't have to vote for the guy. It's good. You should be on the ballot. A lot of people, particularly in New York City, will ask literally, whoa, what's he running for? Oh, he's running for governor. He's running for governor. Is he Democrat? No, I'm not going to sign. No, you're not signing. You're not signing to vote for him. You're signing so he can be on the ballot, just so other people who might support him can vote if they want to. You can still vote Democrat. The signature you're giving me is just to allow him to be on the ballot. That's it. Well, no, he might take one of my people's votes. No. That happens in New York City all the time. You might say yourself, that seems horrible. Yes, and the norm, which is why, sadly, I know that there are so many people who would accept the king if they could pick the king. God, that hurts to say, and true. So, yes. Space Jason says, the establishment is taking away our thought leaders and heroes. Yes, the country has never been so lost. Aging polls and brainwashed millennials are destroying us. Yeah. Yes, agreed. So Joe says, happens in Florida. See, Joe is one of the hardest working guys out there. Joe is out there getting signatures like he don't have to get signatures. He's just getting them. Joe is always out there getting signatures. So if anybody knows how this works, it's Joe. Joe gets signatures just like, there's a commercial break. Let me go out and get some signatures. That's how he is. So yes, I love you, Joe. I'm teasing you. Absolutely. Yes. So Snork Y2K says, yes, listening between different parties is very good. Right now, it is basically throw out the farm with the bathwater. I mean, baby, but yeah. Yes. But yes. But here's the other issue, right? Look. All right, I'll give you another story to be clear. I asked the guy once who was talking about when he was always voting. He votes Republican all the time. This happening guy who votes Republican. And I asked him why he voted for Trump. He goes, yeah, I love Trump. I said, great. Can you tell me why you support Trump? He went, because boom, boom, boom. He gave me three. I forgot the reason, but he gave me three actual reasons why he liked Trump. I said, okay, that makes total sense. You agree with these three things. Trump does these three things. You support him, you vote for him. Makes sense. Got it, right? Whatever you like, building a wall, or whatever was the thing he liked. Awesome. That's a good reason. Why you vote for this Republican? Well, he supports Trump. That's not a reason to vote for that guy. Anyone can say they support some guy or gal, but in this case, it's a guy because it's Trump. But that's the wrong reason. Why would you do that? Well, he supports Trump. You've just made yourself blind. I want people open to voting for anybody. If you happen to think Trump does the cool things you want to be done, makes sense, vote for Trump. But then why is that same vote move on to when you vote for governor or for mayor or for county legislator or whatever? Because they say they support Trump. If Trump's the nominee, almost every Republican's going to say they support Trump. Not all, but almost all. Well, do they really? Who the hell knows? Why would that be a reason to vote for him? Right? Not even for Biden. Do you like, I mean, most people who like Biden just like him because he's not Trump. But I'm sure there's someone out there who thinks Biden's done good stuff. Fine. You like Biden. Why? This. Wonderful. Good reason to vote for Biden. You believe in the three things that whatever, all good. That makes total sense. But then why are you voting for the Democrat down the line? Well, he supports Biden. It's not a good enough answer. So the more time I spend out there talking to people who have other parties, that's when they might go, you know what? Whatever. I like Biden, so I'm going to vote for Biden or whatever. But I'll also vote for Larry Sharpe because he's still a good guy. So I'll vote Biden and I'll vote Sharpe. Or I'll vote Trump and I'll vote Sharpe. Or whatever, right? Whatever the thing is, that they could do that. Because what we should be doing in the perfect world, which is a fantasy world right now, is we should be voting for the individual. Those days are gone. Maybe we can change that. We'll see. Shelley says, I support a Cohen-Sharpe ticket. Oh, that's great. But the Libertarian Party has the power to stop that ticket. All representative of the people are representative that you have decided. Yes. At the moment, I'm not running for president. That's not happening. Again, I'm open to a VP slot. I'm open to it, but I'm not announcing I'm open to the idea. Spike has not announced. As far as I know right now, he's not running. If that changes one day, that's on him, not on me. But right now, he's not running. So, sorry, Shelley. Sorry. Yes. So, Patty says, if you ever move away from New York, will you invite me? Of course I will. Thank you, Patricia. I absolutely appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. So, look, the reality of the situation we have right now is it is very challenging. I spend a lot of time doing this and talking to many people constantly. And I do this because it's the only way I can get people to see that we are human, right? Some of you who are more libertarian leaning, you're surprised when people who are much more socialist or much more socialist even talk to me or come on the show or any of those things. But if you look at the kind of people I bring aboard, and I'm not dissing other libertarian podcasts at all. They're very valuable. They're important. They're awesome. But they're for libertarians just to watch, to get and to learn about libertarianism, to do that. But my show is not really for that. My show is to get people to crossover. I'm a crossover show. I've been that for a long time, and I'm still that. I'm a crossover show. I want as many people watching us and our ideas as possible. I want them understanding that we're just human beings like they are. We want exactly the same thing they want. We may have different ways of getting there, right? That's an important piece, right? That I think that we're trying to make happen. And I hope we convert some people. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I hope we convert some people. But at the least part, I hope we get some people to say, you know what? I'd vote for that guy. I'd vote for that gal. She runs? I'll vote for her. Yeah, I would. And that's enough. Maybe they don't change their their party registration, but at least they would actually vote for someone who's not of their party. Right now, we have a situation, and many of you know this. You see it, you feel it. Maybe it's even you. If you've been a Democrat for a long time or Republican for a long time, you've been trained to hate the other, right? So if you're a Democrat for 20 years, you probably hate Republicans. If you're a Republican for 20 years, you probably hate Democrats. It's a common thing. You're almost taught that as you grow. So how am I going to get you to all of a sudden vote Democrat, vote Republican? I can't do that. But can I get you to vote third party? The data is in. Yes. The data is in. Yes. It is a whole lot easier to get a Democrat to vote for Libertarian than a Republican. A whole lot easier for a Republican to vote Libertarian than to vote Democrat. It's a whole lot easier. Still tough, don't get me wrong. It's tough, but it's easier. If you can make that happen, now we got a shot, right? And I mean vote ongoing, right? Really go, you know what? I'm going to consider voting for Libertarians, every election. I'll look and see if they got some Libertarians running. Let me see what I got. For many people, that's happened. And then hopefully some people start converting and being like, that's it, I'm just Libertarian. I hope so. I hope that happens. That'd be amazing, but we'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath on that one at all. I guess the last thing I want to bring up here, and I appreciate you guys giving me so much of your evening. I do Friday evening. You should be out partying or something. I'm not. I got my daughter in town, so I'm not. But anyway, maybe she'll be partying and I'll be sitting at home. But my point is, I'll be asleep and she'll be out partying. I think the last piece I want to bring up here is, why would I even do what I do? Why would I do this again? An AMA or go out and meet people? Patty was asking where will I be on the weekend knowing that I go out? If you've ever been to any of my events, I'm insanely approachable. Libertarian lady knows. She asked me to come down to Jacksonville. I came to Jacksonville. I will show up. Shelly's seen me many times at events, right? Many times at events. I will show up and I will talk to you and I'll take your question. And all the things I do live with no notes. I just talk. Why? So that you will know that what you're hearing from me is the same thing I would tell anybody. I'm not pandering to you. I'm not going, ooh, this is Joe's on the line, so I got to say the thing that Joe wants. Oh, Shelly's on the line. I got to say what Shelly wants. Oh, no, not a Paula. I got to say what the Paula. No. I say the thing. And that's the thing. And sometimes Joe doesn't like it. He's like, I don't like when you say that thing. But he knows what the thing is. He gets it. And he knows where I stand. He may disagree. He knows where I stand. I think that's the piece that really is important. That people understand that what I'm talking about is real. It's what I actually feel. You're getting what I would say to anybody. Number two, I actually respect you. I know that sounds crazy, but many of you know most politicians don't. They don't. Literally, here it says a way to mutual respect. Literally part of the show. Respect. I actually respect you. Yes. And you might go, Larry, what do you mean? I respect people in general, that people will actually try their best to do the right thing, that most people, don't get me wrong, there are jerks and people who are bad. There are. But the vast majority of people actually are good people. The vast majority are doing the best they possibly can. So that's why I do what I do. I want you to realize I am who I am. I want transparency. The last piece, I'm going to this piece, and I'll go back to this more questions, I'll bring some more in, but the last piece on this. I am grossly transparent. Why? Because we have lost our faith in most of our institutions. And that's a bad thing, right? It's not good for a nation to not trust institutions. But it's true. They've given us reasons to not trust them. It's like it's our fault. They've been doing the bad stuff. They have been terrible. That's why we don't trust them anymore, right? But we shouldn't. In my perfect world, we shouldn't. So how can we fix that? We fix that only one way, by our institutions being insanely, and I mean insanely transparent. So we can look and see everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. And eventually over time, if they do it right, we will trust them again. But it starts with transparency and us being able to look at it and go, is that real? Is that not real? Oh, wait, it is real. Oh, he's being honest. Ah, that's true. Okay. Then again, until eventually we go, you know what? I trust them again. That might take 5 years. That might take 50 years. I don't know how long, but it starts with transparency. That's the piece that I want. And I'm trying to practice what I preach. I think that's the most important piece. So yes, let me see if I can grab some of these. All right. Let's see here. Patty says, I'm a glutton for punishment. Accurate. Joe asks, when will there be an in-person Sharpe Way meetup? I do 62 of them every year in New York State. But I'll do another one coming up. I think I'm going to be at a YAL event. I'll be at Freedom Fest. I'll be at Freedom Fest and then at the YAL event. Is that Florida, I think? Maybe. I forgot. Freedom Fest and YAL this summer. So 2 chances, and New York State Fair. So 3 chances for me to see me in those regards. So maybe there's a couple of them. So yes. So Libertarian Larry says, very approachable. Thanks again for coming to our event. Larry had no notes, but spoke amazingly. Thank you so much. I never do. What you get from me is what you get from me. I never have notes. I just talk from the heart. You get whatever it is. Yes. John says, I'm a grandfather, and why I'm here on a Friday. Larry keeps his word. Oh, thank you, John. Larry came to Florida to keep his promise at our 2022 convention. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Joe says, I understand even when we disagree. Thank you, Joe. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Paula says, Larry, when are you going to do another play-by-play of Queen Kathy? She does so many bad things. You're right, Paul. I should do that. What I used to do it Tuesdays with Andy when it was Cuomo. Maybe another one with Kathy. Maybe like a Fridays with Kathy. I'll do one soon. Thank you. Right. I did this. I did the AMA because people bugged me for the AMA. Right. So I said, you know what? Let me do the AMA. You're bugging me for the Tuesdays with Kathy. I'll do one. Either next week or the week after. I will do one. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. Joel says, the very best part about Larry Sharpe is he actually answers questions. No other candidate does that. I want others to copy me on that one, Joel, I hope so. Yes. Jason, why do many libertarians like Reason Magazine? I'll tell you why. And some of you are going to be upset, but I'll tell you anyway. Reason is a poser rag. That's why. Reason is a poser rag. That's why. Reason Magazine does whatever it can. Whenever it shows libertarians, unless they're Republican libertarians, then they're good. If they're actual Libertarian Party people, they go out of the way to do hit pieces on us. They do a hit piece on the party constantly, all the time. They did a piece on me when I ran in 2018 of all the things I talked about. You know what the title of it was? The one thing I said about Libertarian Party. The title of it was Libertarian Party is a dumpster fire on wheels, which it is. That's true. But I had a whole thing that I said about all kinds of stuff. They picked that out and made that the top. You know how many times they covered me during my literally 2018 groundbreaking campaign? None. Not one time. Didn't cover me again. Not once. I made ballot access in New York State the first time ever. Raised $500,000. That's the most any non-presidential Libertarian candidate ever raised. The Reason Magazine didn't say anything? No. Because that would make us look good. Reason Magazine and all the people there, they don't want a Libertarian Party. They don't want a Libertarian movement. They want the Republican Party to become Libertarian. That's what they want. So they support people like that. They don't support us. They go out of their way to make us look bad. Out of their way. After 2018, I had policies for everything in New York State. Not just that 2019, I crossed the state and got 107 Libertarians elected across New York State. Did you see that in Reason Magazine? No, no one covered that. Not even them. They didn't cover it. The guys who run Reason Magazine live in New York City. They live in my city. They know who I am. They have my phone number. They can just call me if they want to. Do they? No. 1 year, Reason Magazine does over 20 different articles on New York State or New York City. How many was I in? None. Not one. Do I have someone to call me every time we do a New York thing? Of course not. No. But they would do problems and issues that literally I have a policy for and ran on. Wouldn't even call me. They'll call Republicans or the Manhattan Institute or whatever other Republican thing they do that says they're libertarians because they're a rag. Nick Gillespie literally last year put on Twitter that he wrote somebody else in. Knowing I was running a write-in campaign, he posted on Twitter that he wrote somebody else in. Does that answer your question, Jason? Reason Magazine is a poser rag. It makes me angry because they call themselves libertarians. Just call yourself what you are. You're liberty-leaning Republicans. And I'm not mad at you for that. There are some very good libertarian-leaning Republicans. There absolutely are. I'm not mad at you for that. You can be that if you want to. But please stop calling yourself libertarian. You make us all look bad. Did I answer your question? I hope so. Any case. Flying Rich says, yo, yo, yo. Thank you, Flying Rich, for being on the show yesterday. I appreciate that. Paul asks, where the hell is Cuomo these days? Considering running for Senate. I'm not joking. He is considering running for Senate. So, and if he does, he'll probably win. Just saying. He'll probably win. So, yes. Anyway. All righty. Let's see here. Patty says, what about international libertarian debates? I don't know if there's any value in that. I don't know. Yes. Jenna says, you're right about Reason. I know I am. Yes. Pete says, I canceled Reason. F them. Yes. Yes. And then Paula, Reason never covered you. True story. Yes. I'm not making any of this up. This is absolutely all true. 100%. Yes. Absolutely. And then Paula goes on to say, Reason Magazine writes articles similar to what you read in a college Republican club literature. Yes. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. They absolutely get out. Yes. I hope that was clear. So anyway. Nuno says, Larry, to be fair, Reason Magazine is known to be founded by the Koch brothers, who were not libertarian at all. They're a bunch of corporatists. You're right. Yes. You're right. Agreed. Totally true. So I do think that is as accurate. And we still get like, you guys are founded by the Koch brothers. I'm like, where was their money when I needed it? I could have used some Koch brother money last year. I wish they had done that. So yes. I'm sorry, Jason, you got me off on a rant, but I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not going to sit here and say and lie. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. Clearly, I think I made that true. Guys, I'll ask you one more time. Click that like button if you haven't already. Retweet this on Twitter if you can. Super chat me if you feel like you want to support the show. If you want to support what we're doing, LarrySharpe.com/ballot or just donate if you can. I'd like people to donate $20 a month for the next 18 months. That'd be awesome to get this going. If you want to support this show specifically, patreon.com/Sharpe Way helps me $10 a month so I can keep going. It's what I do. I'm trying my best. Absolutely. So yes. Libertarian says, Larry, thank you for doing this AMA. I appreciate that. I'm glad now. Try to do more of them. And also I'll do a day with Kathy Hochul, our queen also. Guys, thank you so much. We did 90 minutes. I hope that's awesome. I hope it's good enough. I hope so. Thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your evening. Please support the show to the best of your ability and the movement in general. Share this to the best of your ability so we can get more out. And I will try to do more AMAs to keep a lot more people satisfied. I will see you all.